and welcome back to another episode of Mysterious Knowledge, episode 2. Thank you for joining us. My name is Engkanto, and I'm here with Punki.
Hey, hey.
How has everything been for you, Punki?
Oh, it's been a trip. I took a little bit of a side wander down memory lane, dug up some fun legends to share today.
Now, you told me to listen to a YouTube video before we start this podcast, and I am nervous to open this link.
As you should be. I will admit, the first time I heard this song, between the song and the ambience, I was a little nervous. So there's a reason that I sent this to you during the day.
I think nervous should be the right word, because that we have no idea what we're going to get ourselves into, and I am ready to explore. So let's see what this song is and go from there, because I have no words anymore. So let's do this. Oh my goodness, there's pictures. It's kind of nice. These images are not really helping.
It's all stories that are supposed to be done as a song.
Right, really. And this lo-fi, I don't know if this is lo-fi music or not, but why was it never recorded? But hang on, how did you get this report then? If it was never recorded, how did you...
We will dig into a lot of it.
Mm-hmm.
There is a lot to this, and I will dig into a whole lot of interesting facts.
7'4".
He was a big boy.
Oh, so this thing traveled.
It traveled, yeah. It's not just one little area.
1987. It started off as an April Fool joke, but soon after reports about actual sightings started to pour into the U studio. Claims of seeing a mysterious Dogman date back to the early 18th century. Is it real? Is it not? The music video is now finished. Okay. So we're talking about Dogman.
The Michigan Dogman, to be exact.
Hang on. It traveled. I mean, we can't just isolate it to just one area now. We just got to say it happened in multiple areas, because it definitely traveled.
It did, but those were all places in Michigan.
Okay. Apologies, because I'm English.
No, you're fine. You are correct in one thing, though. So when we say the Michigan Dogman, that applies specifically to this story. Okay.
Right.
Now, there are other legends in America of dogmen.
Yeah, he did say Dogman, yeah.
Now, and this is where things get a little fun in the lore. Dogmen are different than werewolves.
Explain.
You have the werewolf mythos where, human transforms under a full moon. And
right.
that is the accepted werewolf. It is a shifter of sorts. Whether by magical means or there are some thoughts that follow it's the hallucinogenic effect or something of that nature, but that is the general, you do have a human shifting into a wolf form. Now, Dogman is not known to shift. It is a humanid dog of some sort. It stays exactly how it is. Doesn't matter if it's full moon, no moon. It is a humanoid dog. And that is where the difference lies. So when we say Dogman, it's referring to these creatures that specifically stay as an upright dog. So, and there are other accounts. The Honey Island swamp monster is considered a dogman. The Beast of Bray Road is a really famous one. Again, considered to be a dogman. There are other examples of these types of stories. This one, however, is specifically located in Michigan.
Right.
All of the locations that were mentioned are in the state of Michigan. And the fun fact about this.
Right.
I grew up in this area.
Right. So you know about these stories.
You know, the funny thing is I didn't know about these stories until the song came out. So the one you heard came out in 1997.
Okay. I mean, that's nearly over 20 years ago now.
Yeah, I was 10 years old. I am dating myself, but yes.
Sorry, nearly 30 years, I should say. 1997, so we're getting close to 2027. So yeah, nearly 30 years.
Almost tradition, I would say, to play this on the radio around Halloween. And that is when I heard it, at about 10 o'clock at night.
Youch.
Yeah, 10-year-old me, alone in the room with the radio on, hearing this. Mind you, I grew up in a 40-acre field surrounded by forest.
Right.
So, yeah.
How did that feel for you, like knowing you was in that area?
It was freaky. It was absolutely freaky. Wexford County, I mean, that's why I did all my shopping. It talks about a logging camp in Wexford County. Now, where I went to elementary school, they were known as a logging camp that grew up into a town. And their whole summer celebration that they had every year was known as Logging Days. So...
Logging Days?
Logging Days. Everything was lumberjack themed. I mean, it was just a
right,
thing.
Okay, yeah, got it. Yeah, okay, fair.
And anybody who might be listening from Michigan will probably know the town as soon as I say that, because they have a reputation. And I've been out in those forests. I was through the Manistee Forest tons of times as a child. It was literally in my backyard. Kid you not. I'm going, this thing could look in my window at any time. I was literally surrounded by forests, and to think that there might be something out there could literally stand up and look in my window. That's freaky.
Well, I mean, that would terrify anyone.
Oh, yeah. And it's funny because, the whole legend of the Dogman really came to light in 1987. So, the idea was that the song was written, depending on which report you read. Steve Cook, the guy who wrote it, said he made it up. There are other reports that say that he made the song based on legends. So, and it's very possible that he knew bits and pieces of stories and put together the rest.
Fair enough, yeah.
Now, he was a DJ in Traverse City. So, it aired on the radio station he was working for on April 1st, 1987. And it was meant to be an absolute joke. It was never meant to be anything more than, hey, April Fools, here you go. Let's have a fun laugh about this Dogman that's running around Michigan. Except afterwards, they got dozens of calls saying that people had seen this thing, and they started telling stories.
You're telling me after all this time, someone says about this whole thing on the radio, it's like, no, actually, no, I've heard of that. Yeah, this actually happened after all this time.
The fun thing about this is we have a very mixed group of people, that there are possibilities that this could go back clear to the Native American legends. And if you stop and think about it, you have legends of skinwalkers. And they are supposed to be able to shift, much like what the werewolf does. And it is something that is very hush-hush, because it's believed that if you even speak of these creatures, you are drawing them to you. So, and there is a very real belief that you don't go out at night. You do not whistle at night. If you hear your name, no, you did not. And these are real beliefs. These are real ways that people handle this stuff. So, it is entirely possible that this was some spirit belief, a protector of the woods, if you will, or a possible evil entity. There are definitely the stories that talk about, finding the wagon or carriage and the horse team that had died of fright.
Right.
But the one thing that they never talk about in any of these is an actual attack. You have the stories of the Dogman that's looking in the window. You have the stories of the scratches on the doors or around the windows.
Yeah, he did mention that in the song itself, yeah.
But you never hear of an actual attack resulting in a death from a Dogman.
Right.
So that is something I do find interesting. I mean, this thing will definitely terrify you to death, but it doesn't attack in the way you would think of as a wild animal generally would. And
yeah.
It's weird. It is very weird. So, and it really amazes me to think about some of the lore that comes with it. Because they've never found a body, obviously. I mean, that would make absolute news.
Well, yeah.
There are wolves up there. You know, we do have a wolf population in Michigan. So, they could very well see wolves running. That's not unusual. We have coyotes up there. So again, the idea of wild dogs is not uncommon, and it's not unknown.
But my issue is that we're dealing with a dog that stand on its hind legs and did what it did to people. That is the part that gets to me, because I'll be real, I don't feel that this is possible. I'm a bit confused with this.
There is a way that it is possible.
Okay, please.
I will say, okay, I consider myself a skeptical believer. Not every bush is haunted. Not every bump in the night is some boogeyman out to get everybody.
Well,
However, nature is strange.
And it is.
So there is a way that this is possible, but it doesn't actually mean that it's a dog or a dog man. So we have wolves, we have coyotes, we also have bears.
Yeah.
Now a bear can and will stand on its hind leg.
There we go. Yeah.
Generally, it's not going to walk a long distance on its hind legs. But
no.
It can and will stand up, and it does have the ability to walk at least a short distance on its hind legs.
Yeah.
And they can get rather large.
Yeah, that's fair.
Never gotten close enough to measure a bear standing on its hind legs. I don't know that I would want to get that close, to be
fair. No, neither would I, no.
They are very large, very powerful animals. And they are also very curious. They will absolutely walk up to your door or your window or your car.
Yep.
And they will absolutely open what they can, especially if they have food inside.
Well, yeah, they're hungry.
So they are opportunistic little beasts, and they will come right up and investigate. And it can be frightening at night.
Yeah.
Amazingly enough, and I will admit, the closest to this I have ever seen is pictures. I don't know that I would want to see in person.
Neither would I.
I have heard and seen some pictures that a bald or skinned bear looks very humanoid. If you take the face off and you have it down to just muscle, it looks like a human body.
But not a dog.
It would be a very large dog, hence the 7'4" linebacker of a beast.
I mean, this is the thing. I mean, it's just interesting to hear, like, you know, like, hey, there's this dog man, and it's, I don't know what to say about it. I'm just like,
so interconnected. Even doing the research, a lot of these stories that were mentioned in the song and even beyond are listed as these events actually happened. These are the stories. Now, you don't find what came first, whether it was the story or whether it was the songs. And the funny thing is, this has become so woven into Michigan folklore. There have been multiple songs written. So over the last 30 years, 6 versions of the song that I showed you were created. There have also been 3 films released. Yes, 3. So there is an indie producer who has created 3 Dogman films, full-length films, and released them. Yeah, it's a huge, huge part of the folklore up there. So much so that it is accepted as this is a thing. As much as, people admit that leprechauns are real or fairies are real or, and you've always got your skeptics. That's
of course, yeah.
There's always going to be a skeptic or two.
Yeah.
You have people who absolutely will adamantly say that they have seen this beast. It is real. It is alive. And it is out there. It is generally accepted that these stories that have been used in these songs are real stories. These actually happened. Now, you did point out, the one story in the song where it says his story was never recorded.
Yeah, I mean, that's something there.
One way that is possible.
Right.
And I'm not saying that it's necessarily the case because, again, it's so woven into the folklore that it is an accepted mythos. But a lot of these tend to be word of mouth. You don't have somebody going on national TV generally and saying, I saw this and I am not nuts, but you're going to think I'm nuts. But this is what I saw. Let me tell you my story. But there are definitely whispers in the night of lock your door. This is out. Be careful. This is something that happens at night. And it's those things that make it into the legends 9 times out of 10 because somebody somewhere will go, okay, I didn't see this, but a friend of a friend said.
They saw it.
So that happens a lot. So you don't actually get a report from an official source, but the story becomes its own type of lore.
Yeah.
And when you're collecting these, that's all you find are these social media posts now. Back then they didn't have social media, but you would have newspaper clippings, Crazy Tom down the road said this. And especially in that area, it was a very rural area, even when I was there. So, and I grew up there in the 90s, early 2000s. When we said, we're going to town, we literally could drive through the Manistee Forest. We drove 20 miles to town, so it's not like we were just a stone's throw away from the big city. And even then, the city wasn't big in comparison to, cities that would pop up in people's thoughts as this is the big city, The radio station that aired this and continues to do so was in Traverse City. And that was 2 hours away. That was a 2-hour drive for me when I was a kid. So, and that was a big city to me. So, I mean, we're talking, this is farmland area. This is small town USA. And so we didn't have, a lot of the newsworthy stories that, when you think about high profile stories, our big thing was, is it going to rain? Do we have to get the hay in? Or what are the crops going to be like this year? Whose cows had calves, Who got the biggest buck during the opening day of deer season? That was our news. So,
right, okay.
Something like a Dogman story in that area is going to eventually hit some kind of news outlet, or people are going to whisper. Like that's just the nature of it. And so while it wasn't officially recorded as an event, there was talk. And then it becomes a thing. So that is how a lot of the unrecorded stories tend to be told. Because somebody somewhere told a friend, and it became more than just a story.
Well, this is the thing itself, yeah. I mean, again, you said it's like, 2 hours away from you.
Yes.
And being 2 hours away, here's this Dogman that has passed down to different places. And again, that can, just because it's 2 hours away originally, doesn't mean now it can't just travel down.
Oh, definitely not.
Yeah, and so I think this is another factor that we have to put in place, because yes, this Dogman has, or Dogmen, as it's been put down, has travelled around the place.
Well,
and that's a big thing for me.
When you stop and think about it, wolves, and I'm talking natural wolves, have a range of like 30 to 40 miles that they will travel for food.
Right, exactly.
So, I mean, we're not talking, they hop across the street and grab something and come back. These things will travel. And we're talking natural animals. I mean, think about your house cat. How far can they travel?
Yeah.
They can get into some trouble.
Yeah, they can, yeah.
And that's a pretty small animal.
Yeah.
And you take something the size of a wolf or even a bear, and you look at their size, they're going to need a lot more food than your little house cat.
Right.
And they can't guarantee that it's going to be right outside their den when they wake up.
No, you can't. You literally can't.
They're animals. They will have survival mode just like we do. It's different for, like, we can just pop into the supermarket.
Yeah.
Stop and we think about, what would we do for food?
Yeah, yeah.
Are we going to just, like, give up and lay on the side of the road and go, death is coming,
Definitely not, yeah.
We would travel the same way. And we have in history.
Mm-hmm.
It's not any different.
I kind of feel this is something like, that it's said around a campfire, the old folk tale, like, let's say some ghost stories to people. And now, like, somehow magically, it's turned into a case where people have said, no, this is actually a legitimate thing. And it's kind of like the Slender Man story. I mean, where people kept saying they believe Slender Man was real. And so I'm a bit like, I'm not too sure about this. I'm still not 100% convinced. I mean, there's definitely something like that. But I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but do not wolves actually, like, ride in a pack, not really solo?
Generally, they are pack animals. Now, you can always have this one or two weird encounter where it's a single animal. The rogue wolves. They call them rogue wolves.
Yeah. The lone wolf, yeah.
It could be it's sick, it's weaker than the rest of the pack. There are various reasons where you could have one single animal. And even in the song, it talks about there was a guy on the river and he's attacked by a pack of wild dogs.
Yeah.
I have found reports of that story where it's recorded, assumedly from the song. Now, I didn't find any newspaper clippings or anything like that. But what I did find is that, and I'll admit, I have questions.
Great. Yeah.
I have questions about it because the guy's on the river. I would assume he's either fishing or floating the river.
Yeah.
Now, as somebody who would canoe rivers. I never took a shotgun, and I've never taken a shotgun to go fishing. So what he was doing, I don't know, but in the story, he had a gun with him.
Yeah.
He shoots either up in the air or something to scare these wild dogs away. And there's one that does not run, which is presumably the Dogman.
Yeah.
My biggest question is this guy hunting? Is that why he's got a gun? He sits by the river? Was he out? Maybe he had heard the legends and wanted protection. To me, there's got to be a reason he had the gun, but that's never told. Now, hunters are a dime a dozen in Michigan. They are absolutely everywhere. Everybody's got a gun, pretty much, and it's not uncommon for people to be out in the woods with a gun.
Right.
The local belief, mostly stemming from the song, from what I can tell, is that this creature appears every 7th year, any year ending in 7, and it's generally once a decade.
Well, yeah.
In theory, you are safe every other year except for that one.
Well, I mean, it's been nearly 30 years, and...
Well, they did have a report, and it is on YouTube.
Okay.
Supposedly, a truck driver saw this thing in 2017.
Well, what about 2007?
I didn't look by years. That the 2017 one was specifically one that just popped up.
Right, okay, fair enough.
I did see where there was 2007 mentioned. Obviously, the song doesn't change with the years, so it does end the song with "Soon We'll Know" because the 7th year is here.
Yeah.
And I did not actually hear reports in 2007, but that's not to say that it wasn't further on somewhere else. There are mostly, when you look, reports that end in the year of 7, and it does tend to show up that there is a report, at least one report, for every 7th year, with some digging and, provided, because something else that tends to play a factor, especially something like this. How comfortable are people in admitting that they've seen something?
Yeah.
I mean, if you look on TV, it looks like, everybody's talking about this. Everybody's going to admit. But no, when you're in a town that small where everybody knows your family, you are not saying a whole lot that's going to get you labeled.
Yeah.
Because you definitely don't want Aunt Martha's Bridge group talking about you at their local game. You don't want the reputation of being the local loon when you go to apply for jobs and somebody knows your Uncle Pat or your, cousin Billie Jean or whatever. And that is a very small area where people know you. They know who you are. They know your family. They have probably, if not seen you as a baby in all your most embarrassing pictures, they've heard some stories. There's a little bit of a feeling of embarrassment if you're the one seeing the weird stuff that nobody else sees.
Yeah.
A lot of that plays into the confidentiality. Can I tell my best friend and they're not going to rat me out and make me look like a nut? You don't have a lot of people running to, say, the cops or the newspaper or such.
Yeah.
They don't want to look like they've lost their mind and need to be locked up somewhere.
Which is understandable.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm not sure I would go around admitting if I saw a 7-foot humanoid dog staring in my windows at me. Like that's a little beyond the realm of just, I saw something weird.
Yeah.
So, and what are you going to do? I mean, we didn't even have a
What can you do?
Exactly. This isn't just call the dog catcher, wait for him to drive 20 miles out to your place, and hope that the thing's still there and he's got a big enough shot collar. But, they're bringing tranquilizers at that point because this thing ain't gonna just rope it and put it in a kennel. I mean, at that point, honestly, you're calling DNR level people. And that's some government stuff. They're probably gonna look at you and go, how much have you been drinking? Yeah,
I mean, that is definitely something I can see being said, and completely just side eye. This guy's like,
oh
yeah, we believe you. It's okay.
Yep, exactly. So a lot of these are going to be very much that word of mouth or just that random entry in a book lost in an archive collection that somebody's going to pick up and go, well, this is different.
Yeah.
Because people aren't talking about it going, oh yeah, did you hear what Billy sing, 2 nights ago? No, they're going to be hiding that shit.
I mean, even if you're the kid at school and you said, oh my God, like, my uncle heard this and, my uncle heard that, people are going to talk. The teacher, well, not the teacher, sorry, but I mean, like, well, maybe possibly the teachers will say something because they'll probably be wanting to have a word with you saying like, you shouldn't be telling lies about things like this because we heard this on the playground from you telling other children this, and that would be fair enough, fair enough, that's being said. But from your point of view, how you see this, how do you feel about this?
Honestly, if I have to look at it and go, in my best estimate, now, mind you, I don't have any scientific degrees, I'm not a biologist, I just know what I know.
Same here.
From
same.
living in the area. I've been out in nature pretty much my whole life, and I am an armchair paranormal enthusiast.
Right.
Very skeptical believer of there are things we don't know and don't understand.
Yeah, very much.
My best guess on what this could be, I would honestly say it's probably a bear. And chances are it probably got some sort of mange or something of that nature where it's very human looking because it's not the big shaggy coat but it's got enough hair to go, that's not human.
Right.
But still looks animal enough to go, that's definitely not natural.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would say probably a mangy bear or a bear that has some kind of ailment where it walks upright as much as on all fours and has a very human appearance in the door. So
yeah, I'm leaning towards more of a bear as well, and we're probably going to get crap for this, but yeah,
and
it does.
I had bears behind my house.
Oh wow, okay, fair.
Well, we had honey hives up behind our house. We my parents had agreed with the beekeeper he could keep the hives up in the field at the edge of the forest behind our house. And we had a mother bear and her cubs who we happened to be in their range. Now, I never had an issue with her. I don't remember her ever coming to the house, getting into anything, but I guarantee she liked those hives. And
oh yeah,
that was.
She's hungry.
She was.
Yeah.
They actually came out and humanely removed her and the cubs. I'm no biologist.
No, same.
I've never gotten up close enough to a bear to go, what is visible and what's not? But
right, exactly.
Given the videos and the pictures and such, I can't tell a difference. Normal person just seeing this creature, I wouldn't be able to tell if it was male, female.
Right.
Could it have been a bear and they just have no idea and it just got dubbed Dogman? Absolutely.
Well, exactly. Yeah.
And we know there are female bears, so that would explain how this thing
just kind of
pops up sometimes. So, I mean, there are definitely chances that there is something out there that has been dubbed the Dogman. What it is, I don't think it's a 7-foot wolf creature running around scaring everything to death, but I believe that enough has happened that they have given this creature a life of its own.
I'm all for creatures, the unexplained and things that we don't know about, and I'm all for it, okay? And like I said, I do feel like, yes, this is a bear. I feel more for that because at the end of the day, for the height itself, a wolf, I don't think a wolf could actually stand that tall.
That would be a big wolf.
Yeah, exactly. So that could not be possible. And yes, like, it could stand on its own 2 feet, like, like a bear, like you said. So all the factors point to a bear.
And it really does.
Has there actually been an official picture?
No. The only thing that they have is artist renditions based on descriptions from people who claim they've seen it. It is fairly well accepted that it's about 7 foot tall. It looks like a human standing upright, but it has the face of a dog. And that is pretty well universally accepted as a general description. But to get right down to an actual in-depth description as far as like fur color, does it have fingers on its front feet? Does it, things like that? You don't really find them.
The one thing I'll say about this whole Dogman thing is, I mean, like I said, there's so many things that we don't know about the world, like Mothman, Bigfoot, and all these other legends. And Dogman just seems to be one of those mysteries that just kind of just swept under the radar in a sense. And I'm kind of surprised about it.
Well,
I mean, it's man's best friend.
You want to know something even more surprising?
Go on.
So, Dogman has actually made a contribution to society.
Wait, what? What?
Yeah.
How did he do that?
So, the Dogman phenomena has not just scared the pants off of everybody.
Right.
Steve Cook turned this into something absolutely amazing. And proceeds from the merchandise sales that they have done over the years since the Dogman legend has taken off are over $70,000.
Wow.
And that has been donated to animal shelters and different organizations and charities to help better the situations of those organizations. Dogman has actually contributed to society, raised money for different organizations, and become a bit of a fundraiser.
Wow. Thank you, Dogman.
Right? Yeah, it's as funny as it is to think that this creature has done good, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, you hear about different creatures. Mothman is considered a harbinger of doom. And we can get into that in a later podcast, but, you know, it's considered something to be afraid of. Banshees are another, you know, they're considered not necessarily doom, but I mean, I've never known people to celebrate knowing that death is coming.
Yeah.
And so, you know, they're seen in the same kind of sense that they are bringing bad news. And you have a creature that quite literally scares things to death, and people have just gone absolutely full on in, and they buy the songs, they buy the movies, they buy the merchandise, I mean, Steve Cook was making cassette tapes and selling them as a fundraiser at one point. And that money went to something good. He's not known as this big scary monster that you should avoid.
No.
It's accepted that this is just part of Michigan lore, and we live with it and move on, and kudos to us for surviving a 7th year.
Well, I mean, you know, next year is 2027.
It is.
2027, so hopefully we don't disturb the peace. Yeah. Who's to say that he doesn't?
Maybe in a year we can revisit this and see if Dogman has made any appearances.
I mean, is there a certain time of year, a month itself, like the season itself that he attacks?
There has never been a certain season that I have ever heard of where it's been more likely to see a Dogman. I will say probably, and this is just throwing speculation out there, the late spring to early fall would be most likely, simply because, generally speaking, winter in Michigan is not the time of year you go traipsing around any more than you have to in the forest, unless you're in the middle of deer season. Now, guarantee deer season, everybody and their cousin is out in the forest, sitting in their blind. But to be out on the rivers, to be out just in the forest for no reason other than to just be there, generally not. It's too cold. You don't have a lot of animals that will even be out other than to get food and the things that they need for survival. It's too cold. The snow gets insanely deep in places. I mean, I know I've waded snow up to my kneecaps before. And
ouch.
Yeah, I'll admit I'm short, but that's a lot of snow.
That's still pretty bad.
And you've got to think your trails are all covered.
Mm-hmm.
Your food sources are covered. So, any deer or anything that are out and about, they're digging for their food. They're eating completely anything that is off the ground, or they're digging.
Yeah.
So a lot of animals up there go into a hibernation of sorts. And so you're not going to have a lot of available sources for anything. So I would say generally probably summer is your peak for any kind of animal sightings, simply because the weather is better, the food sources are more numerous, and you're going to have a lot better chance for an accurate range for the animals to get out.
Right.
But again, that's just kind of a logical guess based on my personal experiences.
Well, no, and I mean, again, this is something we had to ask and find out for ourselves. So, to say, when do you think a safe time to venture out is appropriate, to be honest with you? So, it may sound silly, but we have to ask that type of question. I mean, when is it safe to venture out and see the world exactly, and just make sure that you're going to be okay? And
I mean, logically, most creatures, humans included, would prefer to move in 60-degree weather rather than negative 15. So, food for thought there.
For yourself, I mean, as we're getting closer to wrapping this up, how do you feel now? Saying, hey, I think it's a bear.
A part of me is kind of sad in a way. Because not that I want to be scared to death of a creature looking in my windows at night.
No.
But there is something almost magical about the idea that there is a creature out there that we don't know. There is something out there that has a name, and that's it. And it's sharing our space with us. And all we can do is retell the stories from those who have seen it. And yet, a part of me goes, this makes sense. Because honestly, deep down, I really do think it's more likely that it's a bear. And that in itself is comforting, because that means the bears are out. They are living.
Yeah.
And there is a healthy population.
Very much.
That is a part of nature I don't ever want to see disappear.
No.
But to know that there is a thriving native species is a comfort. Even if it is at the cost of losing a little bit of that mysticism. But there are other areas of the world where there is a sense of magic that still exists and a sense of wonder. So I can give up a Dogman for the bears.
I mean, that's fair enough. It is sad to think that this is the real Dogman, and as you said, it's not this real creature that we all want to believe in it, and it's a bear, then it's a bear. I mean, like you said, next year we could find out something completely different and find out actually, hey, there's been actual official sighting, and with the technology that we have now with your phones, it's possible someone's actually taken a picture of it and with a camera phone or videoed it. Again, people may say, hey, that's probably AI'd, which again is sad, but.
And I think people just have to be aware,
Yeah.
There are always going to be hoaxes. There have been hoaxes for years. There will be hoaxes for years to come.
Yeah.
And people have to think for themselves. I mean, don't trust what you see as proof on the internet. Do some research, do some checking. If you're in the area, do some exploring. Get out in the world and see the world. Don't rely on videos or the internet to live your life, because honestly, you're not really living if you're living through someone else's experience anyway. So go explore. Maybe be the one to find something. And if you don't, what bad could come from just being out in nature for a little while?
But what if it's actually a cover-up?
That is an interesting theory. And the funny thing is, I have never heard of anyone trying to actually go out and say Dogman does not exist. You were all mass hallucinating or some other such explanation. Not once in my life have I heard anybody go, oh no, everybody was just drunk that night at the party. Totally not real.
Yeah.
Now, there has been a video that supposedly shows the Dogman. And it is
wow. Okay.
It is called the Gable film. Now, the story with that, and I use this explanation and these terms very loosely.
Yeah.
Supposedly, this film turned up in somebody's attic, as so much of this does.
Yeah.
And it was just an old family video type of film. You know, you had a kid on a snowmobile, you had a guy chopping wood, different times of the year from what I could tell. The film is very choppy, and it looks like it's just a mash of somebody just decided to pull off the camera randomly, and it just kind of picks up one after the other. And it does cut to where a creature attacks. Now, to me, it looks like something you'd find in a swamp monster film.
Right.
This supposed creature looks like living moss. And if I had to guess, just from what I've seen with it, and again, I'm no expert, you know, I have very little tech experience or skills. You can ask anybody that knows me.
Right, yep, same with me.
So I would have to say, based on what it looks like, this thing does not look like a dog. Okay. And my best guess would be they found one of those camouflage suits for people that look like a bush or a grassy.
Okay, yeah. I get what you mean. Yeah.
Not sure what they're called, but I've seen them before.
Yeah, same here, yeah.
They either put that on a person or put it on their pet dog and then had that person or animal come running down. Now, I will say, if it is a person, I give them props because they can move in ways that my spine hurts thinking about it.
Okay.
It very much is appearing to be down on all fours.
Right.
I've been a kid, done crab walks and such. I will say that is one thing I've never been able to really do well, is to be on a quadrupedal type of movement and still run fast.
Right.
Crawling would be about the approximate closest thing. And the movement, from my experience, does not look the same as crawling. So my best guess, if somebody wanted to, say, recreate this, would be to get a trained dog, put this outfit on this dog, and then call this dog. And you would have that same kind of effect. Or you get somebody who is very good at what they do.
But again, the height.
Yeah. Well, and you don't have a good reference for that. You just see this thing come essentially running down what looks like a slope of some sort from possibly a forest. And then supposedly it cuts to, I mean, it does cut. I've seen it. It does cut, but it cuts to what would supposedly be basically this body torn in half. Now, there are no reports that I have ever found where somebody has been mauled by this creature. If they're claiming that it's Dogman in the film, the thing with, I have seen wolves. You have a very distinct head, neck, body, etc.
Right.
In the film, this looks like literally a rolling mound of grass. You don't see a head clearly. You don't see legs clearly. I mean, it looks like a moving moth, you know. And so I'm like, I can't buy that this is dog because it's on all fours. It does not look like a wolf, coyote, any dog that I've ever seen except for those fluffy sheepdog type, you know. That's about the closest thing that this would look like. And I'm like, there's never been a recorded mauling from a Dogman. And suddenly we've got this film that does not look like a Dogman attack. And it shows somebody mauled.
Just completely out of nowhere.
Yeah. I got questions. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I do as well. Because, I mean, where can we find this video?
I believe it's on YouTube. All you do is search up the Gable film, and you will find a lot of reference to it. But it's the best anybody can come up with is it's a legitimately made film. Like, it's not CGI or anything like that I've heard. But to claim that it's Dogman, everybody has pretty much come to the conclusion that it's not. But again, we don't know exactly what it is at that point because it doesn't look like anything that I've ever seen. And nobody's admitting to what it is, whether it is a person, an animal, or whatever under a camouflage suit, or whether somebody had Swamp Thing in their backyard. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's pretty much been written off as a hoax video, but one that somebody did very well.
Right.
And the thought is that it's probably somebody was playing around, found out about the Dogman legend, decided to have some fun with it, get their 15 minutes of fame, and basically go, see what videos I can make, see how good I am with a camera.
Yeah.
So, which is entirely possible as well. I mean, that if you want to break off into video business, then what better way than to piggyback on a famous legend and go, okay, I can bring this legend to life.
Yeah, why not?
I mean, it works for a lot of people. So, but I mean, it is definitely one of those that I would say, look for yourself. Watch the video.
Yeah.
See, see what you can see. Do some research and come to your own conclusion. You may find something in there that nobody else did. You may have experience that somebody else doesn't. And, that might be what makes or breaks it. So, and that's my view on pretty much anything. Make your own decision
conclusion
based
on it.
on, yes. Because at the end of the day, there are people out there who are really good at what they do, for good or bad.
Yeah.
And, you have to be the one to decide if you're going to believe it or not.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, my final thing on this, I agree. Believe what you want to believe. If you want to believe it's a bear, like I do, and Punky does as well, believe that. If you want to believe it's just a legend, then hey, more power to you. Believe it's a legend. There's so many things that have been taken from us, from our childhood dreams, and that there's unicorns and Easter bunnies and fairies and things like this. I say let the magic continue and let it continue to run on for years to come.
I fully agree. You have to have some sort of magic in the world, or what's the point? And if that magic is believing in a legend and being willing to admit that there's things out there that we don't understand, then so be it.
Yeah. Well, I guess that wraps up another episode. Punky, do you have anything else to say about this?
Thanks for listening. I hope you had as much fun diving down this rabbit hole as I did. Sorry to anyone who listens to this at night. If you choose to go listen to the song, It will be linked with the podcast. Do not listen to it at night if you get scared easy. Made that mistake. As have other people. I have been told by people I have shared the song with that they looked over their shoulder at night on the way home. So, by all means, check it out. But if you choose to do so at night, do so at your own discretion. But just have fun with it.
I completely agree. Just enjoy yourself, peeps. And unfortunately, it is nighttime over here in England, and so I had the dissatisfaction of listening to it at nighttime, and unfortunately, I'm now going to be having the lights on outside in the passageway to keep me going. Still, thank you very much, Punky.
I did warn you. I did warn you.
Do you know what? That's another discussion for another day, and
think of it
I'll keep my night alarm.
Think of it this way. You're in England. You just have big cats to worry about.
And on that note, good God. Good God almighty. And on that note, thank you everyone for tuning in to this episode. Hopefully I'll be alive for next week's episode or next time's episode, not next week's. Enjoy yourself. Keep the dreams alive and just always believe in what you want to believe. That there is so many things out there that people ruin. We're not going to ruin it for you. Believe what you want and keep the magic alive. That's what I can say.
Thanks for listening, everyone.
Thank you guys. See you next time.